All right, this is the video you have been waiting for, right? Or a lot of you have. I'm going to put a new string on a Killer Instinct SWAT X1, and that's why I have my Killer Instinct hat on, is so that I am dressed appropriately for the occasion. We're going to strap this SWAT X1 right in here. The crossbow workbench is a mess. It's dirty. It's a mess. But that doesn't matter because we're going to be using the press on this side, and I'll be working from this side, so I'll try and get the camera in here and show you what we're doing. So this is the Killer Instinct SWAT X1 we're going to be working on. This is the Patriot. I love it. I love it. What a great crossbow. A couple things I'll tell you about pressing a crossbow. First of all, I can tell you I've only ever put the SWAT X1s in this press, so this isn't a video about every kind of crossbow out there. May not be helpful for your crossbow, but the concept will be similar probably. It's the idea that we're talking about here, not the specifics. Not an expert on this. In fact, on my own, I've only ever pressed this crossbow and only done it one time. This is the crossbow that Killer Instinct gifted me. They actually sent this to me when I was having problems with a different SWAT X1. They sent me this one as a backup to make sure that I could still hunt with the Killer Instinct. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate Killer Instinct. I have pressed this before and put new strings and cables on it, but for some reason, when I looked at the center serving, it's all chewed up looking, right? And I wanted to use it up before I got it in the press. I didn't want to go putting a new string and cable on here if it didn't need one. And I'm looking at this. People are giving me a hard time about not doing a string and cable, a pressing video. But I'm like, why would I press it when it doesn't need to be pressed, right? The string and cables were fine. It really is still fine when I'm looking at it now. I think it was an optical illusion of sorts, but we'll pull it out of there and see what happens. The cables look good. I'm looking at those. I do use some Trident grease on there just to make sure that they are running nice and smooth. I see cat hair everywhere, but that is just a feature of the crossbow workbench here. When I'm not here, Genevieve's cat makes use of this area. So that's just what happens. But the cables all look good. I don't see any wear around the edges. They look really good. We'll take the string off, see what that happens, see what that does for it, and we'll compare it and maybe save it as a backup or something. I don't know. But we'll take a look at it. A couple observations, though, that I want to mention about this. Before you do this, before you put your crossbow in a press, before you take anything apart or take it off, take pictures with your cell phone or something of the timing. Take pictures of the way that the cables are laid out. And that way it makes it a lot easier. You can refer back to those pictures when you go to put it back together. I have another SWAT X1 or 2 laying around here where I can always pull them out and look at it to make sure that it's okay. So I have that if I need to refer back. But nonetheless, that's a good idea. That's something that you want to do to make sure that you can put it back the right way. Makes it a lot easier. The second thing I'll tell you is just a comment on modern crossbows. Holy cow, is this easier with modern crossbows compared to crossbows from just not too long ago. Different models are going to vary, of course, but when we look at the Scorpid Deathstalker, that has a lot of string. The cables and the string can be twisted. There's a lot of room for twisting. On the more modern crossbows, the faster crossbows, we're seeing that almost everything is served. So there's really no twisting to be done, right? The cables on this crossbow are almost, and I think I could go so far as to say they are 100% served all the way to the end. That means they snap in place and there's no adjustment. They just go on there and you're done, right? That's a lot better than trying to get them the right length. The string on this has maybe a total of 2 inches that you could actually twist if you wanted to. So just don't twist it, right? Leave it so it kind of looks like this. It's got a little bit of turn in it, and that's it. But it is not twisted. We're not trying to change the distance between the limbs, between the cams or anything like that. We're not trying to change the timing on this crossbow. We're just trying to replace the stuff and make it right back to, set it right back to factory specs. And that's what we're trying to do. So, a couple of observations. So, the more modern crossbows don't seem to be as much of an issue when it comes to that. For me, I'm noticing that like the Ravin R29X, it's entirely served, right? The 470 that we looked at, entirely served. There's really no room for twisting. If there was on the R29X, forgive me, but it's a very little amount. So that's not as big a deal. Even this crossbow right here, the Hybrid-X, that's on the bench right here, that Hybrid-X from Excalibur has very little, if any, room. It's got like maybe a total of 1 inch exposed on the cables, on each cable that you could twist. And I played around with the twisting of that, but there's no reason to do it. There's just no need to do any twisting on that. So that's what we're going to do. This press, I can tell you, I bolted down. I have it bolted to this table. I put reinforcement under there, glued a piece of wood up under there, a board under there, and then bolted it through that. So it's bolted to the table. It's real solid. It is a pack press for those of you who are curious. If you're wanting to reach out to the individual who built this, it's a real heavy duty press. This is not a lightweight piece of equipment, but I can take it out of this brace right here, and it is mobile. I did buy the additional parts for it, so I could take it with me if I wanted to. Probably won't. Don't see much need to do that, but you can. It can be mobile if you want it to be. Get some of this equipment out of the way here. I got some arrows laying around here. We're going to see how these arrows work in the SWAT X1. Ooh, we're going to try them out. These were kind of neat. They're kind of neat arrows, so we'll do a video on that here shortly as well. But first, we got to get, so that we're comfortable shooting this thing, make sure that the string is up to snuff. All right, hopefully this will allow you to see what we're doing here. I'll kind of jump in place here. I'm going to try and stay out of my own way. What we have on a press, typically you've got these rubberized fingers so that they're not hard and they're not going to break any of the parts. They're not going to break your crossbow. Because remember, the limbs are you want to be gentle with them. The limbs are made out of carbon, whatever they're made out of. You know, they're made out of fibers, and they're not made out of steel, and we don't want to be breaking them. So rubberized so they don't scratch them, dent them, that sort of thing. And they're sort of shaped this way, and you're going to want to make sure that your crossbow press, whichever one you choose that you go with, is going to work with that. Now, if you look at your crossbow, on this side we can see the pucks here where these things snap. I don't know if it's a puck or what do you want to call it, these little knobs where you can snap your loops onto, right? So we've got this one coming around here and going through here on a string, going like that, and it hooks on over here too. But then to access cables, if you look at it, and you got to relearn this every time you do it, so I'll have to think about this, but the cables go on here on both sides, and they wrap around, do their thing. And you want to make sure that you remember how it is done. The other thing I would do is it does not hurt to measure the distance. Normally you wouldn't have an enclosed barrel in the way, so to speak, but you would measure the distance between the axle to axle across here to here, have that measurement down perfect, make note of it. I would make note of the location of these holes, these various timing holes, if you want to refer to them as timing holes. And sometimes you lay a little ruler on there and just take a picture with your cell phone, and that way you have that as well. But you'll want these little measurements. I have all that documented somewhere else. And like I said, I have another one of these crossbows seated somewhere where I can use it as a guide if I need to. But we're going to be working on the string first and foremost because, like I said, the cables don't look bad. I don't see an issue with that. Those cables, man, if you look at them, I just don't see like a reason to change those out. I'm looking at them. I don't see any fraying. You want to look for fraying on these SWATs up in here, and I don't see any of that. They look pristine. They look great. Like I said, you got hair all over everything, and I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. With the string, though, when I was looking at that, we're going to pull it off of there and replace it and see what it looks like, and we'll play around with that. But we want to be on the string side. Now, if we look at it, of course, the string goes around the cam here, all the way around, and it loops through and into here. So we want this side out, right, in order to be able to access that. And we're going to put it in the press like this, like so. And that just means we're going to see if we can fit it in here. Come on, little feller. There you go. I'm kind of in my own way here because I got the camera blocking half my work area. But we just line it up, and then I'm going to lift up on it to kind of hold it in place while I reach over here and turn the handle, start getting this a little tighter while it's kind of lined up. It's hard to do this with, here. Let's get a little tighter. There we go. We're getting a little tighter, and then we're going to get these to where they want to kind of line up before I ratchet her down. But we're just going to keep pulling it tighter. And what this arm does, I know I'm right in your way, but I'm turning an arm here. Oh, I see what you're going to do. I don't have you locked up. What's up with that? I got handles here, for some reason, that's loosened up, and I don't know why that would be the case. I don't know why I would have loosened this up. Why would I do that? I must have had it apart, playing around with it or something. I think gremlins were in here loosening up my press. Like I said, only press this one crossbow, so I don't really need... There's no reason for other things to be in here. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit just so you can see what I'm doing here. And if you look, right over here is the handle that I'm turning. And turning this handle, when I turn it around tighter, I wrote right on it, so I know. I don't know if you can see that there, but right here is the word tighter with an arrow pointed this way. So when I pull that handle over toward me, wrap it away from me, then up over the top toward me, that tells me that it tightens it up. That way I don't have to keep relearning it. Which way is it going? Which way is it going? But nonetheless, that's what we ended up with. And we have this bad boy kind of in the press now, don't we? Right? Now, the more tension we put on this, what's going to happen is it is going to tighten it up. And these fingers are going to be pushing in on here and on here. And what they're going to do is they're going to bring these 2 points together more and tighten it up. So it will tighten up, and basically it's cocking the crossbow without cocking the crossbow, if that kind of makes any sense. It's basically reducing the distance here to here so that it'll loosen up that string. And we'll be able to take that string off with ease. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do, if I can get past you here, I'm going to slide you out of the way, and we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that the crossbow remains there. I'm going to hold it up top, but I'm going to tighten this up. And if you're watching, I think we're seeing her tighten right up, aren't we? What are you seeing? Huh? Now, that's tight. The string is, look at that. That string is loosened right up. That's pretty nice. Can you see that? See that right here? Yeah. And again, to do the cables, you just take it out here, flip it around, flip this thing around, and so the cables are on this side. That's what you do. But I don't think that's loose enough right now for me to get that string off of there. We're going to have to go a little more. And this thing is so, oh, that's plenty. That's plenty. Don't need to go that far, but we did. I think that's plenty. We'll find out. But we'll just ease this out. It's basically like having a second set of hands. That's what a press is. It is giving me a second set of hands where something else is holding these limbs in place while I make these adjustments. That's all this is, right? So I'm going to take that off of there, and just remember it comes around here, goes all the way around and up under. That's all it's going to do. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Yeah. People were asking me, how come you didn't make this press? You've taken so long to make this video on your press. Well, I don't need a string change. So what might, you know, if you don't need to change the string out, why would I make a video about it? Now, we'll pull this bad boy out of here, and I can see already, I still did not really need to make a video on this, but if you look, I'm going to put my hand in front of it so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I don't know where that black stuff's coming from, but I don't know. But that really is not chewed up so much that, this is really not chewed up so much that it's a problem. I don't know that I needed to change that out. That string, I could shoot that for a long time. I was looking in there and I thought it looked bad, but whatever. We're going to leave that out of there. We'll take that string out. Then we're going to go over here. Over here, I got a whole box of strings and stuff. I don't know which ones are which. I got them for ravens. I got them for scorpions. I got them for all kinds of good stuff. This looks like original string off SWAT X1. This one's going on here. How about that? I'm going to bring that over here. We'll open it up. I don't know. I'm putting a different used string on here, apparently, is what I'm doing. But that's fine, because I don't need another one. So this one says, I have a little note that I wrote in here, so I wouldn't forget what I'm doing. But the note, we'll read it together. 9/18/24, so last September, original string and cable off SWAT X1 look good. Okay, they look good. Why did I take them off? I don't know. The world may never know, right? But we're going to take the string out of that package, which is raw here, and we will inspectify that. Oh, that's a nice looking. Yeah, I don't know why I took that off of there. Why did I take that off of there? But whatever. We did, and that's where we're at. So we're just going to feed it back through the barrel, through the enclosed barrel, and we're going to try and fit it over here without blocking the view, so you can see what I'm kind of doing. So we can both not know what we're doing here, right? And we're just going to feed that through there, get the serving in the middle, and We'll get that prepared where it's going to go. We'll do the same thing over here. Just going to feed this guy through here and start doing it. I'm on this side, so I'll probably do this side first. But what you don't want to do is change the twists in here like I have just done. But I can tell you, it only has a little bit of twist. And this is what I was talking about. When you look at this, there is only, what? It's half an inch maybe right there that can be twisted. Like, it's all serving. That helps them last a lot longer. It keeps the timing in check. When people complain about the timing on compound crossbows, a lot of that is based on problems that we had in the history of older compound crossbows, or crossbows like the Scorpid with all that exposed string. That is a ton of string that can be twisted and change the length. You've got a lot of room to really change the length of that string, and that is a pain in the neck, right? Believe me, I have spent, sat in the basement on the floor for an hour playing with that crossbow, trying to get that to adjust itself and to get on there before, and to get in timing, to get the right length out of it. You make a little tweak to it, and then it changes one thing on the other side, and you got to go back and change it again, and that's just a lot, and it's a pain in the neck. Okay, this typically, I'm telling you right now, the hardest part of this whole process is getting these loops on here. Boy, I remember this. My fingers hurt by the time I'm done with it. But once you get these loops to snap on there and get over this lug, you're in great shape. You're basically almost all the way done. There isn't a lot of length difference in terms of the length of the string that we're going to be able to play with, okay? And I can tell you I have the same problem on Bunjie with a new string. When I go and put a new string on the Bunjinator there, I have the same problem I have right now getting over the limb tips, right? This is like the Excalibur equivalent would be getting your string over the limb tips. Man, once it goes on there, it'll be fine, but I'm going to have to get in there. Let me stop this. I don't know if this is going to be any better, but I'm sitting down in front of it where I can actually look straight at what I'm doing here. It's kind of hard for me to work standing up over here with you looking straight at it, so I've sat down in a chair where I'm right at eye level, and I can just look at this thing and get this on here, and hopefully get this loop to go on and snap right on first try. So there's that. Okay, it went on there, and I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. The joys of self-filming. So what we're going to do, we're just going to pop that out of there, but I'm going to show you what we got firsthand, okay? Pop it right out of there. So that's the little thing that I was talking about, the little puck, whatever these are called. Can you put it in the comments and be nice about it? Don't try to embarrass me because I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But that loop went over there real, when you're looking straight at it, it's easy to do. So it's snapped in place. I'm just going to wrap it around here, bend that real good. These are cables up here going this way and this way. So I'm just going to wrap that string around and feed it back through there, and we should be good to go. Do the other side. We still recording? Looks like we're still recording. Here's that. Okay. All right. It still looks like we're recording. Now, if I can do what I just said I was going to do, which is wrap this around here, okay, give myself a little room, take some tension. Oop, we're getting wadded up there. You got to be careful because the string's delicate. You don't want debris getting under that string, like whatever that is. Grass from outside, I don't know. But you want to be able to snap these in place, and it doesn't want to be round, okay? That cable, that string with the served, it's all served, all the way around, except for right here and right here. And it doesn't want to be round. It wants to be straight. It doesn't want to wrap around here. But boy, I'll tell you, when we let this press off, it's sure going to be round. It's going to take the form of the cams pretty quick when we get the pressure off of this bad boy. This one's going to be kind of tough because it's crooked. We'll have to get up under there somehow. And it might be in a position where I gotta tighten it up to do it, but we'll do it this way. Just water up and do it. It's kind of like putting the chain on your bicycle. Remember those days when you're a little kid and you're putting your bike on and you get it around the sprocket, and then you pedal it a little bit and it turns it on and it rolls it right onto the sprocket. That's kind of what we're doing here. Like this, once I get them on here, now I've got that on good, but it doesn't want to be, the chain, or in this case, the string does not want to be round. It does not want to take the form of the cam. But once I let the tension off these fingers off the press, it is going to assume the shape, okay, of I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, give myself a little bit more room. But I've got it on there. I just need a little more room to get it on that camera, that sprocket, so to speak. But once I do that, it will happily take the form of that. So again, looking at my note, I'm tightening it toward me, holding the crossbow. I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit right here at eye level, right, so it can break in my face and hurt me. Who knows? No, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But we'll do that so we can get just enough to get this bad boy in place. If I can get that one on, I do need to tighten that up. Let me stick it up. All right, so we're holding her, doing one more cranky poo. Half a crank, half a turn at a time. So if we could just get... Oh man, I just need, there we go. We're popping her right into place. Now, some of these SWAT X1s, people take them apart like this, and then they take sandpaper or an emery cloth or something and just get rid of the burrs that are in the cams to make sure that you don't have problems with little burrs sticking out and causing problems. I haven't had to do that with this, right? These cables and my strings, they don't get eroded here in the cams and the grooves, so that tells me the grooves are nice and smooth, so I don't have that problem. Now I can get my chair out of the way. Put that up here. I'm going to break you out one more time, show you what we did, just so you got a good view of it. And right here's the titer, which I was talking about, so I know to pull that toward me. It goes this way to tighten, which is counterintuitive, but it is what it is. I probably put it together wrong, who knows? It doesn't really matter because it works. So it's now on there, goes around like that, right? Comes down and around like that, and it goes around here through the barrel. The cables that hook to the cams are still where they were. They go through the barrel down here. They are still in place. I never took them off. They look like, I don't think I'm gonna. I think this is enough for what I want to do. And frankly, I didn't even need to do that, but the other one comes around here like that. Now, what we can do, okay, and I'm gonna have to hook you back up again, because I'm gonna take this out of the press, but you just want to double check. You want to look at this stuff and make sure it's in here, because if you start letting it off, and then you find out it snaps off or something, because it wasn't on right, it wasn't on there all the way, then you might have a problem putting it back together. You might have to like reset these arms. They are tightened up here, but you might have to move them way out, move this one way out to give yourself more room, and then start from scratch. I'd rather not do that. But let's just see what we got. Woo! All right, so looking at it one more time, making sure, I think they look good. They look happy. They look like they're seated in there properly. And I'm just going to make sure that that looks good. Doesn't look like they're going to come off of there when I get them under tension. The cables look happy. I don't really see any reason to be concerned about this. I think we are ready to, and make sure that these didn't get adjusted. You know, nothing got out of sync or looks wacky or whatever. And I can tell you by looking at them, just giving it a quick look-see here, the cams look in sync. Not as crucial with the SWAT X1s, because they are kind of, it's because of the amount of serving, I think, really. There isn't much they can do. It's almost like it's got a chain. Almost like a chain. But we're just going to hold on to this bad boy up here. I got my left hand up here on the barrel, and now I'm just going to loosen her up. We're going to dial her back, and you'll feel it get under tension. We're just going to walk it back a little bit until that crossbow feels like it wants to come out of there, right? And I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm keeping an eye, making sure it still looks like it's going to sit, like it's going to, yep, nothing funny is going to happen. Give it one more little twisty poo there and drop it down out. And look what we did. Look what we did. We got a crossbow. That looks like a crossbow to me. Looks like a crossbow that could use a little Trident grease. Oh yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It went pretty smooth. I'm going to take this bad boy out in the 60-yard backyard and start shooting a little bit. See if we can sight it in. See if it's holding its accuracy. See if it's performing up to Bunjie's standards. I'm sure it will. Until the next episode, all hail Bunjie.